Pitching at first base, number 6, Ed Seeger. At third base, number 35, Brad Fisher. And the first batter for the Brewers is their second baseman, number 23, Ricky Weeks. Batting second, center fielder, number 15, Jim Edmonds. Batting third, left fielder, number 8, Ryan Braun.
Morton decided to try to go inside. Ryan Doumit, the Pirate catcher, setting up on the inside corner. Morton missed his spots, and Ryan Braun rips it over the head of Milligan left. Dangerous spot to be pitching Ryan Braun. If you go in, you better get it in there. They didn't, and he made him pay. Milligan playing relatively shallow for Ryan Braun out there in left field.
Yeah, shallow and squeezed in that gap, and Braun delivers with a double. An RBI double gives him 13 ribbies for the year in just game number 13.
Jim Edmonds continues to swing the bat. He's going to find himself in that lineup every single day. He has been swinging the bat well.
Here's Prince Fielder with one away. Prince trying to get untracked a little bit. Comes in batting .244. Had a rough weekend in Washington, D.C. And still looking for home run number 1. Fielder with 3 runs batted in. It was just a few years ago. He hit one into the Allegheny River here in Pittsburgh. A bouncer that went into the river. One of the more impressive home runs at this ballpark. To date, Darrell Ward is the only one to hit one in the river on the fly. There have been a few bouncing balls go in that river.
It's a blast to get it out of here and into that river. No, but Prince Fielder, I mean, notoriously a slow starter. In his last 3 years, he really hasn't had a very good month of April, but he has found a way to turn things around later on in the season.
Braun takes off and no throw made. Ryan Braun with a stolen base.
Perfect pitch with which to run. A big curveball from Charlie Morton, and not even a throw by Ryan Doumit. He got a walking lead, taken off on the curveball, and no chance at third base.
Second stolen base for Braun. He's at third with 1 out, and Fielder will draw the walk. So runners are at the corners. Brewers off to a good start, a first inning run here. And how about the first inning on Sunday at Nationals Park? A record-setting first inning, as a matter of fact. Brewers scoring 10 runs, capped off by a Craig Counsell grand slam. Third grand slam of Counsell's career, and it's something that has not happened to Craig Counsell since the 1998 season.
Yeah, the first 8 batters reached, and 10 of the first 11 in that first inning. A dreadful start by Jason Marquis. Did not get it out in the first inning.
Unfortunately, Doug Davis could not stay in the game long enough to get the win that day. The Brewers actually had to grind one out to pick up the win. We're talking to Counsell today about the grand slam. His first 2 home runs in the major leagues were grand slams. As Casey McGee swings and misses.
He's always been pretty good with the bases loaded. Not always grand slams, but he's the kind of a hitter that's just going to try and hit the ball somewhere into the outfield, and he's been very successful in those big spots.
His first major league home run, major league grand slam, I should say, in '97, and then his second one was in 1998. And he was talking with Dale Swaim today. Dale Swaim never had a grand slam in his major league career, and Craig Counsell was having some fun at Dale Swaim's expense. But 13 years later, he comes up with grand slam number 3. Ball and a strike on Casey McGee. Boy, he's swinging a red-hot bat.
Yes, he is. He's been right on everything. I mean, he really was taking the ball to the opposite field very well in Washington. Hit a home run on Friday night to right field. Seeing it well. That's all it comes down to.
Casey was 3 for 4 on Sunday. Had an RBI. His batting average to start the day is an even .400.
Yeah, pretty good start for a guy that had a rough spring. When you talk about numbers for Casey, but still in all, Casey felt as though he was swinging the bat pretty well down in Arizona.
Al McGee third in the National League in batting to start the day. His 4 home runs, good enough for 4th in the National League. Chase Utley leads the league with 6. The 2-2, and it just missed.
Tough one to take with 2 strikes. But the way the strike zones are these days, you're better off taking it just off the outside corner and then trying to wave at it and get a piece of it. Pretty good chance it's going to be called a ball.
Corey Hart would be next. McGee up there with runners at the corners. Fielder takes off. McGee lines one back up the middle of base hit. And in to score is Braun, and it's bobbled out there by McCutchen. Everybody will move up a base.
What a nice at bat by Casey McGee. Taking a fastball just off the outside corner and taking a hanging breaking pitch right back through the middle into center field. Well, he's right on it. Casey's seeing it well. Check it out. Stays right back on it, driving it right back through the middle, and an RBI. McCutchen nonchalants it in center field, and both base runners advance. Now, defense for the Pirates has been very shoddy so far this year after leading the National League in defense in 2009.
Now, we talked about defense as we hit the air today. The Brewers have committed 7 errors, while the Pirates have committed 11 errors at this point. And this is the 13th game. An RBI for McGee, 2-0 Brewers. The error advances both runners, both Fielder and Casey McGee, and Corey Hart a chance to drive in some runs. And the Brewers are back at work doing first inning damage once again. Hart with 1 home run and 5 runs batted in. His home run came against the Cardinals.
And this is exactly what you want to do to a starting pitcher that's really struggled in his first 2 starts. Don't give him any confidence out there. Jump right on him. And that's what the Brewers have done.
Two balls and a strike on Corey Hart. 2 on with 1 away and a little bouncer foul.
Pirates have the infield back. Kind of a surprise. Of course, with men at second and third and only 1 out. And a little bleeder over the infield is going to score 2. But they're willing to concede at least 1 run here to get an out.
Second error of the year by McCutchen. Normally a sure-handed center fielder. 2-2. And Hart rolls 1 to third. Delwyn Young will make the play. A high throw, but Hart beats it. Excuse me, Hart is out. The throw beats Hart. The run scores, and the Brewers are up 3-0 here in the first inning.
Doing the little things to drive in some runs. Good job by Corey Hart. So the error by McCutchen in center comes around to bite the Pirates. That might have been a double play ball had that error not been committed. So a gift run by the Pirates, and the Brewers with a 3-0 lead.
Well, Charlie Morton finds himself down early. It's been a struggle for him this year in his first 3 starts, facing Greg Zaun with a runner at third base. Fielder walks and scores. RBIs in this inning from Ryan Braun, Casey McGee, and Corey Hart. A clean-cut Greg Zaun today. Now we know what Greg Zaun did on his off day.
Yeah, trimmed him up, huh? Looking good.
Zaun started to swing the bat a little better. Started the season 0 for 21 at the plate, but had a 3-hit game in Chicago. Had a hit his last time out. He drove in a run as well. Picked up his first 2 RBIs on this road trip. Bounces one over to Iwamura. And that's a side, but a good start for the Crew. They scored 3 runs on 3 hits. There was an error. And before Dave Bush takes the mound, the Brewer offense has given them a 3-0 lead. starts of the season. Unfortunately, Rock, he does not have a win. A couple of games where the bullpen has faltered him late.
Yeah, each of his first 2 starts, Dave Bush left with a 1-run lead. 5 2/3 his first start, pitched 6 innings his last time out against the Cubs.
Facing Aki Iwamura, new Pirate second baseman this year. Iwamura was with the Tampa Bay Rays over the last 3 seasons. He was part of that World Series club in 2008. A little bouncer over to Escobar with the high sox, and he throws it away. A short hopper that fielder couldn't dig.
That's what we get, right? Talk about defense on the open today.
That is your fault. You're absolutely right.
First ground ball, Escobar spikes it in front of Prince. Tricky hop, but he was able to handle it. The easy part is what eluded him. That was a tough hop for Prince.
You know, that's the one area of concern with Alcides Escobar is that was by no means a routine play, but certainly a play that Escobar should make, and it's those kind of throws that have you scratching your head a little bit.
Yeah, well, the tough part of the play he was able to take care of. It was a tough hop up the middle. Easy part was to make the throw. Keep in mind he hasn't played in 3 days. He had 2 days off in Washington. Yesterday was a team day off. I'm not sure if there's any rust involved, but certainly got to make that play.
Escobar's last start was Friday in Washington, D.C. Craig Counsell got the 2 starts over the weekend for the Brewers. So a leadoff error, a 2-base error at that, and here's Andrew McCutchen. Whose idea was it to talk about how good the Brewers have been playing defensively to start the broadcast?
I don't know. Got to think about that one. Was it you?
No, it wasn't me. Was it you? A little roll to third. McGee's got it. Got to hurry his throw, and it's in time for the out. So 1 gone. Speaking of the defense, you've seen Escobar and McGee. In the outfield, it is Ryan Braun, Jim Edmonds, and Corey Hart. McGee and Escobar on the left side with Weeks and Fielder on the right side, and a battery of Greg Zahn and Dave Bush, the Blaine's Farm and Fleet Brewers defense. Good play by Casey on 2 fronts. Guns down a speedy base runner, and he keeps Iwamura at second base.
Yeah, Iwamura should have been at third. There's no reason why he shouldn't have crept down the line and gotten to third base.
Lastings Millage, the batter, changes the complexion of the inning a little bit. Between a runner at second with 1 out and a runner at third with 1 away.
Yep, take a base hit to score him now.
McCutchen and Millage hitting back-to-back in this Pirates order, second and third, and a little bouncer over to Fielder for out number 2. You know what they call left center, center field, Millage, and McCutchen club dread.
I like it.
The dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Not your prototypical 3-hole hitter, but
No.
he definitely has the dreadlock part down.
Yeah, actually, when you see these guys come to the plate, I mean, the numbers offensively less than impressive. But, you know, the Pirates so far this year have figured out ways to win, particularly here at home.
Pirates had back-to-back walk-off wins over the weekend against the Reds. And Garrett Jones delivered one of those walk-off victories. This guy's been quite a story. He gets a chance to make an opening day roster this year. 3 home runs already, 10 runs batted in. His batting average is low, but he's been very productive through the first 12 games.
This guy's got a lot of power, and left-handed hitters have an advantage in this ballpark. Really, the only spot where you can get under one and hit one out of here. I mean, this is about as tough a ballpark in baseball to hit home runs. From right center field all the way down near the left field line. It's tough. Ball doesn't carry very well, but Garrett Jones figures out a way to do it.
Now, Jones was in the Minnesota Twins organization, and he just found himself stuck behind one of the game's best first basemen and a former MVP in Justin Morneau. He put up big numbers in the Minnesota minor league system. A lot of home runs, a lot of RBIs. Consistently a 20-plus home run a year guy, and he pushed 80, 90 RBIs each season. That's in a schedule that's 20 games shorter than a major league schedule. But he got the chance last year. Pirates brought him up, and he belted 21 home runs with 44 runs batted in after starting the season in AAA. And if you combine his AAA numbers and his big league numbers, 33 home runs and 93 runs batted in. That's a good season all the way around.
Yep. Yeah, he had those 21 home runs in only 82 games.
Well, maybe Bush pitching around Garrett Jones a little bit. And now he'll face Ryan Doumit. Bush has had a lot of success against Doumit. Doumit just 1 for 19 against Dave Bush career.
Now, Doumit, a very good fastball hitter. I mean, what we've seen from Doumit, he's had his share of injury problems throughout his career, but when he's healthy, he's a very good fastball hitter. And Dave Bush likes to get hitters out with a lot of off-speed pitches, change-ups, and curveballs. If he's able to keep them down, the off-speed pitches, he should continue to have success against Doumit.
Well, Doumit missed 2.5 months last year, had a wrist injury, required surgery. And you're right, Rock, he has been on the DL a significant time on the disabled list the last 3 seasons. Had hamstring issues, wrist issues, had a concussion 2 years ago. But he's healthy this year. Off to a sluggish start, Doumit. .216 batting average to begin the day with 1 home run and 4 RBIs. First and third for the Pirates with 2 outs. Inning started with an Escobar error on a ground ball from Iwamura. Escobar threw it off the Brewers dugout. Iwamura ended up at second base. A walk to Garrett Jones, and Bush working in a little trouble here in the first inning.
All of a sudden having a tough time finding home plate. A walk to Jones, and now he's down in the count 3-0 to Ryan Doumit. He's making some very good pitches, the first 3 hitters.
Walked him on 4 straight.
That first 2 starts for Bush, he'd walked a combined 2 hitters and already 2 walks in the first inning.
Back-to-back walks. And here comes Rick Peterson, Brewer pitching coach. He's answered a lot of questions over the last few days about the starting rotation. Brewers pitching has scuffled this year, not just in the starting rotation, but in the bullpen as well. Opponent's batting average right now against Brewer pitching is a little concerning. .302 opponent's batting average at this point, and a .606 earned run average.
Yeah, that's the highest in the National League, that opponent batting average. They lead league in allowing home runs. Need to turn that around quickly.
Bush, meanwhile, has brought the curve down a little bit. He's pitched very well in his first 2 starts. Starts Jeff Clement with strike 1. Clement's a newcomer to this Pirates organization. He came over from the Mariners last year. He was part of that Jack Wilson trade. Bases are loaded. Iwamura's at third. He reached on an error. Back-to-back walks to Garrett Jones and Ryan Doumit. And after a 3-run first inning for the Brewer Bats, Bush in a bind. And that one's hammered to center field. Edmonds turns and runs. Plenty of room out there. Edmonds will make the catch in deep center field. A hitter unfriendly ballpark at PNC. Pirates strand 3.
Make a donation to the Hunger Task Force. Join us in thanking them for their support in striking out hunger.
Charlie Morton back on the mound. We head to the second inning from PNC, and Alcides Escobar will lead off. A little different look tonight from Escobar. He's got the pant legs up. Maybe in tribute to Dave Bush here tonight. At the old school look. That's just the way a shortstop tells his pitcher, I got his back.
I'm with you.
Except Dave Bush says, just don't make any more errors then. Swinging a foul back. Escobar committing an error in the first inning.
Yeah, one more error, I think, and the pant legs are going to go down.
That's right.
He's been pretty good so far this year. He's played a nice shortstop. He got 2 days off in Washington. Ken Macha wanted to give Craig Counsell some at bats, and it certainly paid off. You know, the thinking there was giving Escobar a couple of days off. You know, you get the kid a rest a bit, but Macha wanted to get Counsell, 8, 9 at bats so that he'd be more productive coming off the bench. He felt like Craig was a little rusty coming out of spring training.
Well, you could say the hunch paid off in Sunday's game. Counsell had a couple of hits, including the grand slam. Escobar down the line. That's a fair ball, and that will go for extras as Jones retrieves it back to the infield, and Escobar with a double.
How about that swing? You got to be kidding me. That pitch was nowhere near a strike. Escobar just flipped the wrist on the pitch up and away. Check this out. High out of the strike zone, actually jumps after it and whistles it down the first baseline for a double. Garrett Jones has a pretty good arm out there in right field, but Escobar didn't care. He got a great jump out of the box and cruises in with a leadoff double. So 3 doubles now for Milwaukee. Check that, 2. Nope, 3.
Now Edmonds, Braun, and now Escobar. Gives Dave Bush a chance to get a bunt down. Well, maybe the pant legs will stay up now.
Yeah.
after the base hit by Escobar.
That's what makes Escobar so dangerous. I mean, he very rarely strikes out. He doesn't very often swing and miss. Kind of like, a Vladimir Guerrero with no power. I mean, he'll swing at anything, and you never know where he's going to take it. A pitch in on him, he'll inside out it, take it to right field. And a pitch like that was just a waste pitch.
Escobar's been a 300 hitter wherever he's gone through the minor league system. Hit 300 in AAA last year, and then actually came to the big leagues and hit over 300. And it shows you why. He'll expand the strike zone. Important spot, batting 8th. Bush squared and then swings away to foul it off for the second strike.
Yeah, the corner infielder's so close. Ken Macha figuring, chances of dropping down a successful bunt pretty slim. So they do the old butcher boy, the fake bunt and slash.
See what Bush does here. He's squaring early. And he takes a ball.
Wow. That's a tight zone by Jerry Lane so far. That looked like a pretty good pitch. You know what? Sometimes the umpire gets fooled on a pitch. Where does it miss? When it crosses home plate, it looked pretty good.
That one bounces in, and Escobar on his way to third base. So a wild pitch from Charlie Morton. And now Dave Bush can swing away with 2 strikes. Now a break for the Brewers in this second inning. Leadoff double, Escobar to third base on the wild pitch. Infield is in. Bush had a good cut, fouls it back. Bush has drawn a walk this year. He's 0 for 1 at the plate. And that's walk number 2. Well, Dave Bush not only gets the runner to third base, not by his own doing, but then he draws the walk, and now it's first and third with nobody out as we head back to the top of the order.
I remember the walk that he was able to draw in Chicago last week. He drew a walk with 2 outs, and then Ricky Weeks doubled in 2 runs.
Opened up a big inning. He walks here with nobody out. Top of the order. Weeks batting with runners at the corners. Three to nothing Brewers. Scored 3 in the first. As Morton starts Weeks with a strike. Well, in this series this week, Ricky Weeks and Aki Iwamura, you're looking at 2 of the top run-producing leadoff hitters in the National League. Weeks with 14 hits already. Look at the RBIs. He and Iwamura tied with 7 RBIs, tied for tops in the NL. A little bouncer that's going to get another run home, and no chance to throw Weeks out. An infield hit and an RBI, and it's 4-0 Milwaukee.
That's kind of the way it's been going for Morton so far this year. A pretty good pitch. He jammed Ricky that time, and with Delwyn Young playing behind the bag at third, no chance for him to get Ricky. He runs well down the line. Sniffing a base hit. A good jump off of third base by Escobar, and he scores the 4th run for Milwaukee. A perfect rolling bunt down the line by Ricky Weeks.
RBI number 8 for Weeks. So first and second now against Morton with Jim Edmonds coming up. Starting to feel like the Brewers took that shutout at the hands of Livan Hernandez personal, because they have swung the bats well since. That was Saturday, a 4-hit complete game shutout by Livan Hernandez.
And sometimes you just have to tip your hat, though. I mean, the Brewers hit some balls very hard in that game. Dale Swaim, after the game, was very pleased with the approach that the Brewers took, but it was just one of those days for Hernandez, who threw all but about 5 pitches on the outside corner. Who says you have to come inside, right?
Stay away. See another day. There's a strike to Edmonds.
Much more room for error when you go down and away with your pitches than you try to work the inside part of the plate. Not many can do it, but according to Dale, he's been very happy about the approach most of his hitters have been taking so far this year.
Edmonds rips another one, a base hit. Bush had to freeze for a moment, and he'll be held at third base.
And there is activity in that Pirate bullpen already. After the walk to Bush, the bullpen got busy. And you just have to wonder how long the leash is going to be for Morton. It's like Brian Burris getting loose in the bullpen. Fastball right down the middle. 93 miles an hour up in the strike zone, and Jim Edmonds now 2 for 2. Just another day at the office for Jim Edmonds.
Especially against Charlie Morton.
I love that approach that Edmonds has. He has that big spread out stance. He never does, lift his entire front foot off the ground. He just kind of pivots it. That's his trickery mechanism. And always seems to be able to stay on balance through his swing.
Well, he's been something this year.
Yeah.
Came in batting .273. Edmonds playing a lot more than anybody thought he would, but he's been hitting. And Ken Maka keeps him in the lineup. You know you're going to get a good center field from Edmonds. Managing the health on a 40-year-old body is the real challenge for Maka, but with so many off days, Edmonds has been able to play whenever he's called on him.
Not so sure how many times he's hit second in the batting order, though. He's more of in a run-producing spot throughout his career.
Well, Ryan had a double and an RBI in the first inning. 13 RBIs now. National League leader in ribbies is Jorge Cantu of the Marlins. Well, one of Ryan Braun's 2 grand slams came against the Pirates, and it was one of the most memorable grand slams in Miller Park history. That was late in the season of '08 as the Brewers were trying to claw their way back into the playoff chase. That was an extra inning grand slam against Jesse Chavez at Miller Park. And it was just a few days later that Braun hit the home run against the Cubs. CC Sabathia went the distance on that final Sunday, and the Brewers went to the postseason.
Yeah, and you know the rest of the story.
3-0, and Braun takes a strike. Ryan Braun can deliver a knockout punch to Pirate starter Charlie Morton here in the second inning.
Yeah, 56 pitches already. Nobody out in the second inning.
(3-1). Braun takes a strike on the outside corner.
And just catching the edge right at the knees. Good pitch by Morton.
A run is in. It's 4-0. Braun trying to do more damage here, and he takes ball 4 and RBI the easy way.
And that'll be it. You got Big Prince coming up. You know the left-hander's loose out in that bullpen, and another disastrous start by Charlie Morton this year.
So John Russell will take the walk to the mound a lot earlier than he had wanted to. And he is going to call on the lefty Burris. That's it for Charlie Morton, who goes 1 inning plus. And at this point, 5 runs. We'll take a break, come back and set up the new pitcher.
first base. You know, one time he'd be straight up, the next time he'd be driving off the back leg. And when you have mechanics like that, you're just not going to throw strikes consistently. The interesting thing about Morton, 3 walks, including a walk to Dave Bush. And in his first 2 starts, partner, 1 walk. 1 walk and 2 starts, 3 walks today.
And 5 runs on the board already. And 3 base runners that are still his responsibility. An early trip to the bullpen. Brian Burris will come on to face Prince Fielder with the bases loaded. Burris had his contract selected from AAA on the 12th of April. He actually started that night against San Francisco. He lost that game. And now he's back and in the bullpen. So he's a guy that's been stretched out as a starting pitcher. And Russell will ask him to give him a few innings here today. Fielder on the first pitch, pops it up. Foul territory for Young, and he's got it for the out. And the frustrations for Prince Fielder continue.
Just a tick behind, a tick ahead, but we've seen this before in the month of April for Prince. Sometimes it takes 1 pitch, 1 at bat to get locked in. April has not been a kind month for Prince in his career. Just a little bit out in front. You can see the uppercut by Prince, and just a little bit, underneath. He's fighting it. He's fighting the emotions.
Yeah, it looks calm on the outside, but he's got a full-blown battle going on internally. Here's McGee now with bases loaded. Casey had an RBI single his last time up. And now with 11 runs batted in the 13th game of the season. That was kind of interesting comparing McGee's year last year to this year. He finished 5th in the Rookie of the Year voting last year. Had a tremendous year. 16 home runs. He drove in over 60. He starts his 13th game today. Rock, he didn't start his 13th game last year until the 20th of May.
Yeah. Ricky Weeks hurt and pressed into duty over third base.
Casey ended up in the lineup as a second baseman until the Brewers were able to settle down the second base situation with Craig Counsell and then ultimately Felipe Lopez. And McGee hadn't played much second base in his career. He said he was learning on the fly, doing anything he could to keep his bat in the lineup, and it was that bad. That certainly kept him in the lineup. Not only kept him in the lineup, but put him in a 5-hole, one of the premier spots in a batting order.
Yeah, to protect Prince Fielder. That's a tough transition for a kid. Third base catcher, and all of a sudden now you're playing second base. That's not an easy transition.
Bases loaded, 1 out. And McGee sends one to right field. Jones is back at the track, and he makes a catch. And that's going to get a run home. Ricky Weeks will score as Casey McGee now has 2 runs batted in. Sacrifice fly and an RBI, and it's 6-0 Brewers.
And what's new? 1 back through the middle, 1 to right field. I mean, nobody on the Brewers does that any better than Casey McGee. Watch where the pitch is. Right on the outside corner, maybe a little bit off the corner, but still able to drive it that way. Got it on the sweet spot, and Garrett Jones makes that one a little more interesting than it had to be.
Six runs already for Milwaukee on 6 hits. And here's Corey Hart. That run will belong to Morton. Edmonds and Braun still on base, both belonging to the Pirate starter. Hart drove in a run his last time up on a ground out. 6 RBIs now for Corey Hart. Maka still has his 3-man platoon for the 2 outfield spots in center and right. Braun plays every day in left. And between Corey Hart, Jim Edmonds, and Carlos Gomez, those 3 get most of the playing time. Jody Garrett has started a game as well in right field. And Hart pulls one over to third. Young will go to the bag for the out. Inning is over, but the Brewers tack on 3 more. And a good start with the bats tonight in Pittsburgh.
Yesterday, right-hander Dave Bush reported to the ballpark for a little light stretching and to play a little catch and to get ready to face the Pirates. Normally, there's nothing unusual about that circumstance. This time, however, there is. This is Bush's 3rd start of the season, and it's the 3rd time that he's pitching after a Brewers day off. I talked to the right-hander about it. He's not really a big fan. He said, I drew the short straw. Hopefully it'll all even out. The streak will end on Sunday when he pitches against the Cubs at Miller Park. Guys, you know how pitchers like their routines. He didn't really like this one.
Now back into his routine next week. I'll never forget the image of Dave Bush throwing long toss on an off day with his wife a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well, you know, he subscribes to that theory. Don't mess up your routine, even if it means having your wife go out and take some toss with you. It's amazing.
And she's got a good arm too.
Yeah. You did pretty good.
Yeah, that was on an off day at Miller Park. Walked into the park for a function, and there was Dave Bush throwing the baseball with his significant other. Delwyn Young starts this 2nd inning. Now Bush wiggled off a hook in the first. A bases-loaded jam with 2 outs. Little bouncer to short. Escobar another chance. And a good throw this time for out number 1. Now we want to say hello to Carrie tonight. She's probably watching her husband pitch.
Feeling kind of bad that it wasn't her that was playing catch with her husband.
Yeah, that kind of disrupted the routine a little bit.
Yeah. Nice play by Escobar that time. Well, the first throw out of the way, that one right on the money.
Well, here's the pitcher, Burris. We've seen this from Tony La Russa of the Cardinals, and of course Ned Yost, and then Ken Maka last year with the pitcher batting 8th.
Well, the theory for Tony La Russa was certainly to get more men on base for Albert Pujols, and it all started when Mark McGwire was with the Cardinals. Similar situation with the Pirates, although they're looking for more men on base for Andrew McCutchen.
There's a bit of a difference there between Pujols and McCutchen.
Yeah.
Bush makes quick work of Burris. 2 outs for Dave Bush. And here's Ronnie Cedeno.
Remember a couple of years ago, the Brewers tried that. Had the pitcher bat 8. That didn't last very long.
We saw it in spring training under Ken Maka as well last year. Depends on how you look at the statistical analysis. And it does bear true that more base runners, more runs scored. But I've always felt there's a psychological part of a National League position player batting 9th.
Hasn't been bothering Ronnie Cedeno too much.
Cedeno bounces one to Weeks, and the side is retired. A 3-up, 3-down for Bush. On our way to the 3rd from PNC in Pittsburgh, 6-0 Milwaukee. Now, go to Bucks.com, the Bradley Center box office, or you can call 1-800-4NBA-TICKS to order your tickets this Saturday's 6 p.m. game, or Monday's game as well. And we wish the best of luck to the Bucks. Their return to the postseason. Down a game in that series and underway tonight.
Need a win. Got to get a win tonight.
That's why we are broadcasting on WMLW in the Milwaukee area to make way for the Bucks. Wherever you found us, we're glad you're with us tonight. As Greg Zaun leads off this 3rd inning. Been a good start for the Brewers so far. They posted 3 in the 1st inning. RBIs from Ryan Braun, Casey McGee, and Corey Hart. And 3 more runs in the 2nd. It was McGee, Fielder, and Weeks. And a foul out of play by Zaun.
Well, if you're wondering if Burris can eat up some innings, he was a starter for the Orioles in 07 and 08. 17 starts for Baltimore in 07, 22 in 08. So he has the ability to eat up some innings. He was with the Blue Jays last year.
The epitome of a long man. He was stretched out in spring training as a starter. Started the year in AAA, but did come back to make the start against the Giants on April 12th. A ground ball to short. Ronnie Cedeno takes care of Zaun. And the first out of the 3rd inning.
Do that to
One gone, and here is Escobar. He doubled and scored his last time up. He shot a line drive past the first baseman down the right field line. It is amazing how much room the Pirates corner outfielders and infielders give the batter.
Yeah. They bunch them. I guess they figure, most of the time that's where these baseballs are going to be hit. But Lastings Milledge, incredibly, he's right in the left center field gap. A lot of room down the left field line. If Eski's able to get one down that line, he's got a triple.
Well, we'll give you a look here of the difference between the outfielders. All right, this is Ryan Braun, and he's in front of the free credit score sign out there. Escobar able to check his swing. He's on with a walk and a base runner, and there's Milledge. So there's a good, 20 feet, 30 feet between where Ryan Braun normally sets up and where Lastings Milledge plays.
Well, ordinarily, you position your defense based on how you're going to pitch a batter. And if you're up there and you see that, you got to figure that Burris is going to try and work you on the outside corner, not give you anything to pull. Why would you? They kind of give their pitching pattern away, don't they?
Bush walked and scored his last time up. He's up there to bunt. Escobar to second. Another one of the reasons Maka likes Escobar batting eighth. Spots such as these. It doesn't take a perfect bunt to advance a runner. Escobar has such great speed. As long as Bush gets the ball on the ground, most often the play will only be at first base.
And particularly if he bunts it toward first base.
If there's any difference between this year and last in this scenario, remember Kendall hit eighth most of the time last year. And there was not that Kendall was slow. He was an above average runner for a catcher. But he's no Escobar, who's one of the fastest in the organization.
I don't think Jason would mind if you called him slow. He's up there in age. He's caught a lot. Over 2,000 games. I don't think he'd be insulted.
Well, I hope it doesn't get back to him. Because I disagree with Bill Schroeder that Kendall is slow.
He's in Toronto tonight, so I don't think he's gonna know.
Well, Brewers are big up there in Toronto. Probably watch the game on MLB TV. On the computer. Bush bunts right through it. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Dave Bush. Bush has 2 sacrifice bunts this year. Didn't need to sacrifice last time up. Escobar doubled and went to third on a wild pitch. And he takes a called strike 3. So up 6-0. Bush allowed to swing away, and he ends up taking a called strike 3 for the second out.
Yeah, good curve ball able to get Bush. Drops it right on the outside corner. The Pirates might be auditioning Burris right here. You got to wonder what the thinking is going to be for Charlie Morton. He's been really scuffling out there on the mound. Maybe give Burris an opportunity to make a start.
Burris was a non-roster invitee with the Pirates this spring. As Ricky Weeks lines one to right, a base hit. Watch Escobar run. Jones cuts it off at the fence. Escobar will not stop. He'll score. Weeks on his way to third. And it's an RBI triple for Ricky Weeks. The Brewers have a 7-0 lead.
Boy, another beautiful approach by a Brewer hitter. And another pitch on the outside corner. I think the Brewers are going up there thinking away because of the way Lastings Milledge is set up out there in left field. They're figuring we're not going to see anything on the inside part of the plate. Let's look away and hit it that way. And this time able to dump it inside the right field line. Jones had a problem with it. He bobbled it out in right field. I really don't think it would have mattered. He would have scored anyway. And Ricky Weeks all the way around to third base.
Well, 4 of the 7 hits for the Brewers have come to either center field or to the opposite field. First triple for Weeks. An RBI gives him 9 for the season, 2 in this game. Boy, that was fun to watch Escobar run.
Boy, walks are killing the Pirates. 3 of the 4 walks have come around to score. That's no surprise.
It was Escobar who walked with 1 out. Now Edmonds a chance at a run batted in. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Edmonds doubled and scored in the first. He's singled back up the middle his last time up. Parrott's in top form tonight.
He's always in a good mood.
Some of the Parrott stylings come from the Philly Fanatic, though. That's my only criticism. But he's funny.
Looks a little bit like him. The body, anyway.
Right. Same body, same state.
Right.
That's a famous chicken move right there.
Yeah.
So, while not original in a lot of areas, he's still entertaining as Edmonds rolls 1 out to second, and Weeks is going to be left at third base. So Edmonds grounds out. 7-0 Brewers. They add 1 more to it. And save. And by Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. Nice night for baseball in Pittsburgh, and the Brew Crew enjoying the spoils of 7 hits and 7 runs thus far as we head to the bottom of the third. Top of the order for the Pirates. Dave Bush coming off a 3-up, 3-down second inning. He stranded the bases loaded in the first. Aki Iwamura at the plate for Pittsburgh. Iwamura had knee surgery last year.
And limited to only 69 games with the Tampa Bay Rays.
That's $1.
That's $1.
You'll be getting a letter from the Tampa Bay Rays organization.
But this guy hit in 08, 374 in 152 games for the Rays. That's an incredible year.
That's why his nickname is Big Gun. Lines out into the opposite field, but Braun is right there. Makes a play for the out. Iwamura had the ACL surgery last June, knocked him out of the final 3 months of the season. Still wears that big brace on his left knee.
Had a great divisional series against the Chicago White Sox in 08, hit almost 400.
That Tampa Bay Rays club of 2010 is something else.
Yeah, they just swept the Red Sox 4 games at Fenway. That's not easy to do.
Well, the Rays loaded in every position, leading against the White Sox tonight in Chicago. Tampa Bay has won 7 straight, and all 7 wins have come on the road. They've been on this long road trip. In the American League East, the Rays are 10-3. The Yankees are 9-3. And a little trouble in Beantown right now. Red Sox are 4-9, having lost 5 straight. And many would feel, and few would argue, that the power in baseball is in the American League East, not just with the offense, but the pitching as well. As McCutchen hammers one deep left center field, and that one is going to be up against the bottom of the wall. McCutchen motored around second, and he'll settle for a double. That's the first hit for the Pirates.
And McCutchen really hasn't gotten going quite yet this year. Not many of the Pittsburgh Pirates have been swinging the bats the way they think they can. A slider that stayed in the middle part of the plate. You can see the reaction of Dave Bush, and had he not been at PNC Park, that would have been a home run for McCutchen. This is very deep in center field around the left field gap. You're not going to see too many home runs hit out there.
Double number 2 for McCutchen. First base hit for the Pirates. And it was no cheapie. Here's Lastings Milledge. Milledge and McCutchen have become fast friends after that trade last year, the Nationals and the Pirates. Milledge has had a checkered past off the field. Willie Randolph managed Lastings Milledge in New York. And I remember that issue a few years back. He put out a rap CD and had some explicit language. And boy, he's just found trouble throughout his young career. But he's come to Pittsburgh and he's been terrific.
Yeah.
He talked to some of the Pirates personnel, front office personnel, and their broadcasters say he has been a model citizen here, and gives a lot of credit to Andrew McCutchen for kind of bringing him in, and their roommates.
Speak softly and carry a big stick, right?
2 guys from Florida, both first rounders. Milledge was in the 03 draft, while McCutchen was in the 05 draft. McCutchen was in that same draft as Ryan Braun. So who knows? Lastings Milledge maybe starting to put it together a little bit, starting to mature a little bit. He's only 25 years old.
He seems like he's been around a long time. Still young.
Off the end of the bat, little pop-up. Who wants it? Fielder will make the call and the catch. And 2 outs in the inning. Well, some headlines today in baseball. The big headline, Edinson Volquez, right-handed pitcher of the Cincinnati Reds, suspended 50 games for testing positive to a performance-enhancing drug. That was the same substance that got Manny Ramirez. Cliff Lee had his 5-game suspension rescinded, and he is going to be able to return. And our deepest regrets to the Colorado Rocky family. Kelly McGregor, their team president, passed away at 48 years of age. And he leaves his wife Lori and 4 children behind. And that's a tough loss, not just in the Rocky family, but in the baseball fraternity as well. He was a good man, and he passes away at 48.
Yes, he was in good shape and in good health. He was a college football player. Very sad.
Now, Kelly McGregor was with us in Milwaukee during opening day and the opening day festivities when the Brewers played the Rockies, and we wish that organization well. It's been quite a roller coaster for them. The euphoria of the no-hitter by Ubaldo Jimenez on Saturday, and the tragic loss of their president as Jones grounds one to first, and Braun will take it. Fielder will take it to the bag for the out. So Jones is retired. Braun ready to lead off. He and Fielder will hit when we come back.
Of the net raffle sales for that day. The remaining proceeds benefit the programs of the Brewer Community Foundation. Look for the raffle ticket sellers in the Miller Park. You can't miss it. Back to you guys.
Having a little trouble there with Drew's mic, and we apologize for the technical difficulties. The Brewers raffle, always fun at Miller Park. That's a new addition, raising a lot of money for the Brewers Community Foundation. Ryan Braun leads off, a little pop-up into shallow left, and it takes a diving catch by Milledge. He was playing awful deep in left field, but he makes the play for out number 1.
Yeah, Ryan got that one down on the handle just enough, and Lestis Milledge about panicking right about here, but able to make the catch. Playing deep and over toward the gap. Able to haul it in.
That was a nice slide. That was a nice smooth touchdown. Here's Prince trying to get things going here. Brian Burris was brought into this game in the second inning with the bases loaded to face Fielder, and he got him to pop up in foul territory. So now Burris has gone once through the batting order. Charlie Morton, the starter, went just an inning plus and gave up 6 earned runs. fielder noticeably absent from this list, the Powerball home run leaderboard. Casey McGee has 4 home runs, and that's good enough for 4th in the National League. Ryan Braun with 3. Fielder gets sawed off, and a bouncer over to Young. 2 up and 2 down for Brian Burris in the 4th. All right, Rock, how about some trivia tonight? Brought to you by AT&T. Kind of, dug around at some of the interesting notes concerning the draft. Which Brewers coach was drafted by the Pirates in the 21st round in 1976?
1976.
76.
Are you asking me or the general audience?
That's kind of up for discussion at this point.
Just let it sit for a minute.
Casey McGee with 2 outs. And a bouncer over to short. Cedeno, a backhand pickup. Nice play. And the inning is over. 3 up, 3 down. Burris retires the side in order. And we're headed to the bottom of the 4th from Pittsburgh.
Park, Ryan Braun got things going early with a double to drive in Jim Edmonds, who had doubled earlier in the inning. Casey McGee with a base hit back through the middle. Casey off to a great start this year. A 3-run first followed by a 3-run second. Ricky Weeks driving in Escobar on a ground out to third base. So 7-0 here in Pittsburgh.
Dave Bush, a slow curve to start Ryan Doumit. Bush pitching with a comfortable lead here. 3 scoreless innings. He's just given up the 1 hit. That was a double by McCutchen. As Doumit sends one high in the air to Edmonds. Out number 1.
And Dave Bush has really done a nice job on first pitch strikes, avoiding first pitch fastballs. This Pittsburgh Pirate Club likes to attack early in the count. If they get a fastball first, second pitch, they're going after it. They don't really wait around a whole lot, working the count. So Dave's been using the cutter, the slider, the curveball first pitch, and doing a nice job getting ahead. Of course, a 7-run lead will change that up just a bit. You want to get ahead in the count. No walks.
Well, Doug Davis was staked to that 10-0 lead in his last start on Sunday, and he commented about pitching with a big lead. You'd always rather have a big lead to pitch with, but there is a different mindset. And unfortunately for Doug Davis, he was unable to get through the 5th inning and pick up the win.
Well, the problem Doug had in that game, he just wasn't getting ahead in the count. And he'd fall behind 1-0, 2-0, 3-1. Gave up the base hits. The one thing you have to do when you have a big lead is throw strikes. Get ahead in the count. Keep the pace going. Keep your defense interested out there.
Fielder will take it to the bag for out number 2. 2 quick outs for Dave Bush. That's how you do it. Check out this foul ball here, Rock.
Where's Drew?
Yeah, under the table. That's called an ugly finder, Drew.
Believe it. It's the second time I've almost been drilled tonight. Alcides Escobar's E6 in the first inning almost got me between the eyes.
Wow. Got to be on your toes down there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about this seat. I'm practically in the Brewers dugout, but I didn't know it would be so hazardous.
Have you enjoyed any of the condiments down there? You know, the bubble gum, some hot coffee, perhaps?
No, that's not for the writers. I am looking forward to a front row seat for the racing pierogies, though.
Drew, you're not a writer anymore.
Yeah, once a writer, always a writer, huh?
You're a television personality now.
I still consider myself a part of the PBWAA Brotherhood.
Yeah, there's no erasing sentences here. You said it, you said it.
Which is good, actually.
A proud member of the Baseball Writers Association, Drew Olson, joining us here as our sideline reporter, dugout reporter. And you've been in more coat and ties this year than in the last 10 years combined already.
No question about that. My wardrobe, boy, I tell you what, dry cleaning's expensive. I had no idea. You guys must have a clothing allowance.
Yeah. That's called repurposing. Here's the 1-2, and that one misses down and in.
And it's called stuffing dryer sheets in your sleeves when you're heading to the next city. That does work, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. My favorite hotel trick. Everybody asks me, you know, how do you keep your clothes from getting so wrinkled? And we wouldn't want to break the iron out because that goes against a lot of rules that I have. But if you'll get a good steamy shower going, you just hang up your clothes in the shower, close the door, everything works out just fine. Just don't forget to turn the shower off when you're done.
And make sure you give it time to dry out. You get on the bus to the ballpark smelling like a wet dog. At least I do. Not you.
Fresh bed of roses. Third walk issued by Dave Bush. And here's Burris, the pitcher, batting for the second time. I've been doing some homework on our AT&T trivia question tonight, so I'm anxious to see the answer. I don't know if it'll happen this half inning, but the anticipation is building for next half inning if it doesn't. There's a nice little connection.
The Brewers coach thing?
Yeah, the Brewers coaches and the Pirates, and I didn't realize so many of the Brewers coaches played for the Pirates. Del Swain was a Pirate.
Yeah. Ken Maka.
Toward the end of his career. Maka is from Pittsburgh. And
Dale Swain.
He played for the Pirates. There's
He was
Maka.
actually a manager in the Pirate organization for many years.
The Altoona Curve was where Del Swain managed. Little bouncer back to Bush. And that is the inning. Trivia question is coming up when we come back. Oh, you don't want to miss it either. And our AT&T trivia tonight: which Brewers coach was drafted by the Pirates in the 21st round of 1976? And the answer is Rick Peterson. And he is one of 3 Brewer coaches drafted by the Pirates.
Yep, a left-handed pitcher, Rick Peterson. But continue.
Corey Hart leads off, and he sends one deep into right center. That ball is well hit, and that ball is gone. Corey Hart with a solo home run to the opposite field. 8-0 Brewers as Hart connects for his 2nd home run of the year.
Oh, I'd love to see that from Corey Hart going to the opposite field. You know, Corey got a new shipment of bats today. Had them all lined up, checking them out. Early batting practice for Corey Hart, and it pays off. Another pitch away. You see a developing pattern here with bursts, everything away to right-handed hitters. And Corey goes with it, knocks it out of here. Good piece of hitting.
Now the Brewers have 2 hits against Burris, and both have come to the opposite field. The home run by Hart, the triple by Ricky Weeks. Here's Zahn. Pulls one foul. All right, so check it out, Rock. In 1972, and I knew this about Maka, but I didn't know it about Willie Randolph. In 1972, the Pirates drafted Ken Maka in the 6th round. And then he made it to the big leagues with the Pirates. In the 7th round, the next pick for the Pirates, they took Willie Randolph. So the skipper's got that on his bench coach. Oh, but by the way, Willie Randolph has a whole handful of rings, World Series rings over his skipper, but that was in 72. Now, Dale Swain played for the Pirates late in his career, but he was a first-round draft pick by the Brewers. So there is plenty of connection between the Brewers and the Pirates on that coaching staff. Randolph played just 1 year for Pittsburgh, and then he, of course, had a long career with the New York Yankees as
Brewers.
a player. And then, he had a good year, as a matter of fact, with the Brewers.
326. That's not a bad season.
Randolph was an all-star second baseman. Had that 1 year in Pittsburgh. 18 major league seasons for Willie Randolph. Little flare, that's going to fall, and Escobar has his 2nd hit. You remember Doc Ellis, right?
Yes, I do.
That was the trade. Willie Randolph was traded by the Pirates with Ken Brett, brother of George Brett, and Doc Ellis. Those 3 players went to the Yankees for Doc Medich. So that's why Randolph ended up in pinstripes. A native New Yorker, traded back home, and that proved to be a move of good fortune for Willie Randolph, who not only played for the Yankees, he ended up coaching for the Yankees on Joe Torre's staff, and then ultimately managing in New York for the Mets.
Yeah, Doc Medich was a Brewer at one time, 1982.
Dave Bush gets a sacrifice bunt down. And to second goes Escobar. 1982, that was a good year in Milwaukee.
That was a good year.
That was a good team to be on.
Got picked up at the end of the year. And a lot of connection, right? Pirates and Brewers.
Way to bring it full circle.
Yeah.
You're good that way. I'm proud of you. Got a nice walk in today.
Yeah.
Thinking about old times. Thinking about Doc Medich and Willie Randolph. Probably shoved a pierogi down.
No, I did not.
Ricky Weeks, a big swing and a miss.
I have figured out the National League and the cities and how to get a great meal for under $15. Like the Whole Foods got a fried crab sandwich, and went across the street in my bag, and I hid the bag, and I got a nice salad over at the Italian restaurant.
I see. So you kind of mix and match a little bit.
Soft shell crab sandwich.
So you broke out the sandwich in the restaurant?
Yeah.
That's bad form.
I know, but then nobody saw me. A soft shell crab sandwich and a nice salad.
So when you order, do you say, yes, I'd like a salad, and could you just bring me an empty plate?
No. Ate it right out of the bag.
I've brought my own main course.
I wanted to avoid the salad and the pizza. You know what I mean?
How about the Nacho Supreme?
No.
Anything on there you're interested in? The milkshake looks good.
Waffle cone wouldn't be bad right now. Yeah, the Permane sandwich has not been part of my repertoire in the last, 5 years now. Been very proud of myself on that regard. And one of my favorites.
Permane Brothers.
Right.
Now, what do you go for? What did you go for back
the sweet
in
sausage.
in your wilder days?
The sweet sausage with the fries and the tomato and the lettuce on there, all smashed together. Coleslaw. No more. Too old for that.
Steak and lube.
Now they do sell the Permane Brothers sandwiches here at the ballpark.
Yes, and they have the the racing pierogies too.
Pierogies, yeah. Have you ever had a Permane Brothers?
Oh yeah, sure. I could go for one right now, actually. Yeah. Since you're not doing anything.
Want me to go get you one?
That'd be great. Wrap it up, save one for tomorrow. I'll see if Weeks can drive in another run. He has 2 RBIs tonight, 2 hits. Infield single and a triple on his line tonight. What a start he's off to. 9 RBIs. That is #1 among leadoff hitters in the National League. And he is picking up right where he left off last season.
He continues to play a good solid second base. Making all the plays, getting on base. On base percentage at a healthy level right now for Rickie Weeks.
Came in with an on-base percentage of .466, and he's 2 for 3 today. Weeks has 16 hits already in 13 games. Escobar out at second, and Rickie fouls it away. Had a good cut.
Yeah, he's been hit by 4 pitches. He's walked 9 times and doing a nice job setting the table for the Brewers.
Last year at this time, Weeks had 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and he ended up with 9 home runs before the injury that knocked him out for the rest of the season. That was in mid-May. So his numbers this year right where they were a year ago, but a much higher batting average and on-base percentage.
And the Pirates aren't sure what to do with Rickie in this situation. A 3-2 count. We've got Edmonds, the left-handed hitter, on deck. You wonder how aggressive they're going to be with Rickie.
Does an 8-0 game change your thoughts?
Not for the pitcher. Just still trying to keep the Brewers off the board.
Well, he missed, and Weeks will draw the walk, only adding to his on-base percentage. And now Edmonds will face the lefty with 2 on. Burris came on in the second inning. The starter, Charlie Morton, went an inning plus and gave up 6 runs, all of them earned. With an inning plus 5 batters, Charlie Morton. Edmonds had 2 hits off Morton. grounded out against Burris his last time up, and his only appearance against Burris tonight. Two on and two out. 8-0 Brewers. Braun would be next. He's driven in a pair tonight. Got a long walk between customers here at PNC tonight. The Penguins are playing tonight. Penguins are leading. As a matter of fact, they just scored a goal, Rock. That's practically play-by-play.
It's 6-3 over there in Ottawa. That's a lot of scoring. 9 goals. Wow.
Penguins fever is definitely in this region right now. Ken Maka is a die-hard Penguins fan. There was a headline that came across today about 5 o'clock that said Crosby scratched. But it was not Sidney Crosby, it was Bobby Crosby of the Pirates. You can imagine the anxiety that was building in Pittsburgh when that headline came through.
Yeah, he owns this place.
Crosby scratched. It's kind of a cruel joke for hockey fans in Pittsburgh. Sidney's just fine. Bobby Crosby has a shoulder issue, and he was in the original starting lineup and was taken out for Delwyn Young. Full count to Edmonds. Runners take off. Edmonds lines one to center field. And McCutcheon is there for the out. So the inning is over. The Brewers do get a run, however. Corey Hart goes deep. His second home run of the season. And Hart makes it 8-0. Well, been a good night for the Brewers here at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. 8-0. Milwaukee leads as we head to the bottom of the 5th. And the Pirates starter, Charlie Morton, went an inning plus. He gave up 6 runs, 5 earned on 6 hits. And the Brewers have 2 runs off reliever Brian Burris. Now Bush is 3 outs away from putting himself into a position to win, and he gets his first man, Ronnie Cedeno. The Brewers have just one win from their starting rotation. That was Randy Wolf. Bush has been in there twice and had late leads given away.
And the Brewers looking to win the first game of a series for the first time this year. They have not lost the final game of a series, but are looking to win tonight for the first time to start a series. These are the kind of things you can talk about early in the season.
Yeah, the Brewers dropped 2 out of 3 to the Chicago Cubs to start this road trip, and then dropped 2 of 3 in Washington. But can make it a successful road trip with a run here in Pittsburgh to finish it up. First road trip of the year, a 3-city, 9-game, 11-day road trip. Brewers will have the Cubs and the Pirates at home next time around. Beginning on Friday, Cubs come to town for 3. And then they're back on the road for another 3-city trip out west.
And back home for a week, and then another 3-city trip. But that only encompasses 7 days.
So the tough road schedule as far as length and distances traveled comes early. Iwamura, that is a foul ball. Zahn tried to play it. That's a foul ball called by Jerry Lane. Iwamura is still not sure.
Yeah, he thinks he's on first base, but it was a foul ball. Jerry Lane called it right away.
It's going to take him a while to get all of his armor back on.
Yep, any part of the baseball that's touching any part of the line, it's a fair ball, but Jerry Lane right on top of it. Apparently there was some space between the baseball and the line. Not much, though.
Well, the breaks have gone the Brewers' way tonight. They've made their own breaks, but been a few plays that have gone their way. I think maybe one of the biggest of the game was with Dave Bush at the plate. Little chopper foul. Remember, Bush was batting. Escobar was at first base. Excuse me, at second base. Bush was trying to bunt him over, and it was a curveball with 2 strikes. It looked like a strike. It wasn't called. Bush ended up walking, and that kind of opened the door a little bit. And it ended up producing a 3-run inning as the Brewers kept hitting against Charlie Morton. 3 batters later, Morton was out of the game. You never know, the inning might have changed if Morton gets that strikeout. And
you get that out, and all of a sudden, yeah, things are going to be different. But Dave Bush has been involved in 2 huge walks that have been a big part of 2 rallies this year.
One coming against the Cubs in his last start, and one tonight. 8-0 Brewers. They got 3 in the first, 3 in the second, added 1 in the 3rd inning, and a home run from Hart in the top of this inning as Bush walks Iwamura.
That's 4 walks for Dave Bush. Very unusual. Well, tonight's time of the game winner is Rails Inn Depot in St. Francis. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours at 902-4572, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Here's McCutchen now, and he hammers one to left, a base hit. Jumps on the first pitch, and he is 2 for 2 against Dave Bush. McCutchen has the only 2 hits of the game for the Pirates.
Well, one coming on a slider in which he doubled, and that one a first pitch fastball. Got to be careful first pitch fastballs to this group. We talked about that all year last year. They don't walk much. They like to swing early in the count. Most young clubs will do that. But with an 8-run lead, I think you got to attack the zone right down the middle. And McCutcheon bangs it hard into left field.
Now 2 men on now for the Pirates, and Lastings Millage is up. Pittsburgh's 3-hole hitter. He's 0 for 2 against Bush. Bush with 4 walks thus far has 1 strikeout and 75 pitches.
That's still in pretty good shape. The ball to strike ratio not nearly what you're used to with Dave Bush on the mound. And Mills doesn't get cheated up there. He is 100% every swing.
See what he does with 2 strikes.
Cutter away.
Zahn sets up out there. The pitch. And Millage lays off.
This is a guy you have to force to hit the ball to right field. Don't give him anything middle in. You saw the swings he was taking on fastballs. Only throw fastballs when you have to. And Dave Bush right now does not have to. Up ahead in the count.
Zahn back out there. Left one up, and Millage yanks it foul. That was a mistake pitch from Dave Bush.
And that was the cutter that stayed in the inner half of the plate. And Millage a little bit out in front of it. He hit it hard. Look at the location. Up and in. That's not where you want to leave a cutter.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Millage. Bush hoping to get a ground ball out of him. 2 on with 1 out, and Millage rips one to center. Edmonds coming in, and he's got it for the out. And this is going to turn into a double play. Jim Edmonds, smooth as can be in center field. And what in the world is Iwamura doing?
Yeah, down by 8, taking off on contact. I have no idea what he's doing.
Edmonds makes the catch on the hot line drive and a double play to win the inning. odds are you'll like them. By Airtran, go, there's nothing stopping you. And by GMC, we are professional grade. Downtown Pittsburgh on a Tuesday night, first of a 3-game series. And it's gone the Brewers' way so far. They lead 8-0. On our way to the 6th inning, the pierogi races here. Also lacking an original, an original idea, but still fun for the fans here in Pittsburgh. You know who the originals are, of course.
The Clements Racing Sausages.
New pitcher for the Pirates, DJ Carrasco, facing Ryan Braun, who jumps on the first pitch. And a fly ball routine for McCutchen for out number 1.
Yeah, Carrasco has spent a number of years in the American League, the Royals and the White Sox. Had some pretty good years with Kansas City. Now he's working out of the bullpen for the Pirates.
Well, Brian Burris came in relief of Charlie Morton. He went 4 innings and gave up 3 hits and 2 runs. The Brewers scored 6 runs, 5 earned against the starter Morton. Fielder beats one into the ground, and Prince is 0 for 3. And 2 men are out in the 6th. Hey, a reminder, CBS 58 News always has your most important news and your full, complete first alert weather in the first 10 minutes. Turn to CBS 58's 10 at 10 News for just 10 minutes. Your most important news and full weather is always first. The Brewers doing all of this damage offensively tonight without Prince Fielder doing much. Prince walked and scored in the first inning. And you hope the big man pulls out of his slump pretty soon.
Well, he'll get it going. Just good that the guys around Prince have been able to pick up the slack. That's what you need to do to have a consistent offense. You know, Prince is going to be able to put up his numbers. You know he will. Now consider this. The Brewers right now 5-7. Prince Fielder with no home runs, and Giovanni Gallardo has not won a game.
That's a 3-3 down inning for Carrasco. And we are headed to the bottom of the 6th in Pittsburgh. 8-0 Crew. Jim Edmonds doubled in the first. Ryan Braun followed with a double and an RBI. Extra base hits have been the story here tonight. Ricky Weeks, a triple and an RBI in the 3rd inning. Corey Hart, a home run to the opposite field in the 5th. 5 extra base hits for the Brewers. 3 doubles, a triple, and a home run. Ricky Weeks is 2 for 3. He's driven in a pair. Ryan Braun has 2 RBIs. Casey McGee with 2 ribbies. And Dave Bush is working on a 2-hit shutout through the first 5 innings. The only 2 hits by the same batter. Andrew McCutchen has doubled and singled against Bush.
Yeah, the Pirates have been able to knock on the door in just about every inning against Dave, but he's been able to make his pitches when he's needed to. 2 hits, but 4 walks for Bush. Unusual.
Bush stranded the bases loaded in the first inning. Has had just one 3-up, 3-down inning. But he's only surrendered those 2 hits, and Dave Bush giving Ken Maka and Rick Peterson exactly the kind of start they're looking for. Garrett Jones, a bouncing ball foul.
Yeah, you'd love to be able to get 7 innings out of Dave Bush. The bullpen could use the time, and they've been worked quite a bit so far this year.
And you made a good point about Yovani Gallardo last inning as we were heading to break. You know, the Brewers not getting the big offensive production from Fielder. Yovani Gallardo not pitching like an ace just yet. They're hoping to get him back on track. As Bush strikes out Garrett Jones, just his 2nd strikeout of the ballgame.
Yeah, so I guess things could be worse when you consider those 2 things. The 2 top guns, both offensively on the pitching staff. Good cut fastball by Dave Bush down and in. And you know those 2 are going to turn things around.
Well, the Brewers and Brewers fans are certainly hoping so. And you don't want a repeat performance of last year. Remember, the Brewers starting pitching staff was very good in the first 2 months of the season. It wasn't until Bush was hit with that line drive in the beginning of June. He went out of the rotation, then Suppan got hurt, and the depth was exposed a little bit. Man, look at that play by Weeks. Slick fielding second baseman Ricky Weeks makes the play on Bellman for out number 2. That was nice.
Yeah, you love the way he goes down and tries to get his eyes as close to the level of that hop as he possibly can. Boy, that's an area where Ricky's really improved a lot. That backhand play. When he first came up, he had trouble with that. But he's done a nice job so far.
You give a lot of credit to Willie Randolph. Randolph just loves Ricky Weeks. He loves his work ethic, the way he goes about his business. Ricky Weeks is the same guy every day. And I think in baseball or in any other way of life, that's a good testament on character.
Yeah.
Doesn't ride that emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, Ricky likes to have a good time in the clubhouse, and I'm sure away from the ballpark, but when he's got that uniform on and he's out on the field, it's all business. He doesn't mess around. I think that rubs off on a lot of his teammates.
There's one statement from Willie Randolph that he made both to Weeks and Fielder that still rings true, and I think it was a good hit on some visualization. There's a nice play by Prince. Willie told him the same hands that make you guys great hitters can be the same hands that makes you great fielders. 4 more ounces of that great Pilsner taste. And by Toyota. Thank you for standing by us. For more information, visit buyatoyota.com. Here we go to the 7th inning from Pittsburgh. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Drew Olson is here as well, and we're glad you're with us. 8-0 Milwaukee in the first game of this 3-game series, and Corey Hart sends one to right, playable for Jones. Hart homered to right his last time up. Now he's back in the 5th. Corey belted his 2nd home run of the year. And you like this swing from Hart as he drops a Powerball home run count number 182 on him.
Well, you know he likes those new bats that he was able to get today. And Corey Hart. Got to get him going.
That's number 2 for Hart. The 182 was kind of like a bingo situation. You know, you pick the number that applies. It's a new game we're playing tonight.
Okay. I really wasn't looking, actually. I was looking at the swing and what I could say about the swing, and really wasn't paying much attention.
You know, and what you said was outstanding, I thought. Might have been some of your best analysis tonight.
You didn't hear a word of it, did you?
Did you say something, Ron?
I was talking about Corey's new bat order.
I know. He got a whole new shipment of bats in today, right?
Yeah. Tried him out in extra batting practice today. There's about 9 players for the Brewers that were out for early BP. It's about 2:30.
And you know about the bat order because you were in there with Tony Migliaccio, checking all the equipment that came in.
It's amazing. You know, you see a fresh box of bats, and I mean, automatically your hands just pull them out and just see how they feel. You know?
Right.
You just can't walk by a new box of bats.
It's like the mosquito to the light.
Yeah. Everybody's picking them up and feeling them. Ricky Weeks pulled one out, and he started, doing the old Ricky Weeks thing.
A little waggle.
Yeah.
The Ricky Weeks waggle in the clubhouse.
It's great.
Those are the little things. Now, what size bat does Corey Hart use?
About an average size bat. I think it's about a 34, 32. It's a very thin bat, well tapered, and it's got a little bit of a tapered knob on the end.
So it's tapered on both sides. A little bouncer to second. Iwamura makes the play for the out. 3 up, 3 down. That's too bad because we had a good conversation going about Corey Hart's bats. Next time. Ed McCutcheon and Ricky Weeks had a nice pickup at second base. Home Depot doing more on defense.
Casey's been solid over at third base. You can tell that he's feeling a lot better with those knees that are fixed now. He's moving around much better, coming in on the baseball extremely well. Much more mobility than he had a year ago.
Here's Delwyn Young to lead off, and he hits one high in the air to right. Corey Hart is back, and he'll have room to make the catch.
Now a little out in front did Young and popped it up. That was a changeup. Stayed up in the zone, and Young did his best to stay back, but got out in front.
Busch will face a pinch hitter here. John Rayner will hit for Carrasco. 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Longest outing by a starter this year, Yovani Gallardo. He went 7 innings on opening day. Escobar makes a play, long throw, and it pulls Fielder off the bag. Almost. Would have been a highlight reel play from Escobar. Instead, it goes as an infield hit for John Rayner.
Just a little bit off the mark, but he had to get rid of it quickly. And look at the arm strength by Alcides Escobar. Well, you have to have some kind of arm to be able to do that. Off balance, heading toward the left field line, and just a little bit off the mark. That would have been a play that you'd have seen all night.
First hit for the Pirates since the 5th inning. And a base runner for Ronnie Cedeno. 8-0 Milwaukee. They lead on 9 hits. Brewers got 3 in the first inning. RBIs from Braun, McGee, and Hart in the first, and then they scored 3 more in the second. Braun again with an RBI. Ricky Weeks drove in a run on an infield hit, and Casey McGee had a sac fly. Picked up his second ribby of the night. Chance for 2 here. Escobar flips it to Weeks, and the turn is in time. And Dave Busch gets himself a ground ball double play, and he's through 7 with no runs on the board. A 3-hit shutout so far for Busch.
With the Hawks 96-86, and remind everyone that Palermo's Pizza presents Bucks Playoff Red Fest. Fans can come to the Bradley Center 2.5 hours before every home playoff game and enjoy live music, food, and they can meet Bucks personalities like my friend Tony Smith. It'll be the place to be before every Bucks home playoff game. Bucks Red Fest. Back to you guys.
All right, Drew, thanks a lot. First home playoff game for the Bucks will be Saturday, and now they'll have to fight their way out of a 2-0 hole to the Hawks. PNC Park in Pittsburgh. If you're just joining us, the Brewers have put a hurting on the Pirates tonight. 8 runs on 9 hits. As a native Milwaukeean, Jack Tashner takes the mound for the Pirates. We saw Jack a few years ago in pitching in Milwaukee with the San Francisco Giants. He's resurfaced with the Pirates, played his college ball at the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh. Joe Inglet is pinch hitting for Dave Bush. So Bush has done 7 innings. Gives up just 3 hits and no runs for Bush tonight.
Nice job. Real good job by Dave Bush. Just what Ken Maka needed tonight. A nice long start. Rick Peterson's got to be happy with that. Did a nice job avoiding 2 strike mistakes. That's been a topic of conversation quite a bit lately with the Brewer pitching staff. Getting ahead in the count, but not being able to make that good pitch with 2 strikes.
Bush issued 4 walks, which is high for Dave. He had only 2 walks in 2 starts coming in. But 7 shutout tonight against the Pirates, and he's trying to become the second starter to pick up a win as England strikes out. And 1 man out here in the 8th.
Well, Dave was able to keep the ball down nicely. He had good command of all of his pitches, and he did walk 4, but sometimes that's okay. I mean, Dave Bush, when he struggles, sometimes throws too many strikes, maybe trying to be extra fine tonight. Walked 4, give up 3 hits, and that was a play of the night right there. That ball drops. The Pirates in business in that inning, but it did a nice job pitching with an 8-0 lead.
Ties the longest outing of the year by a Brewer pitcher. Gallardo went 7 on opening day. Jody Garrett getting some playing time here tonight. Pinch hitting for Ricky Weeks.
I figure Inglet's going to go into second base. Engel will stay in the ball game. Perhaps Jody Garrett.
I think that's the last bit of work that Ken Maka has to get done here, making sure that everybody gets involved, and Joe Inglet hasn't played much.
Yeah, the only Brewer that hasn't started a game.
And he's basically been pinch hitting. Jody Garrett did get a start, but you'd like to have everybody get some time over the weekend in Washington. Ken Maka gave Craig Counsell 2 starts at shortstop just to make sure to get him some consistent at-bats, and got to have a strong bench if you're going to compete in the National League, and it's important that those on your bench get a chance to hit 3 or 4 times in a game. It's not just the one and done scenario like a pinch hitter.
And it's particularly important early in the season. You don't want these guys leaving spring training and then sitting around for 3 weeks with nothing going on.
Back on Fox Sports Wisconsin, the rest of this series. Tomorrow, 5:30 is airtime for Brewers Live and our Miller Lite What's on Tap. 11 a.m. Brewers Live on Thursday. That's an early start. And then Friday, the homestand begins with the Chicago Cubs. That'll be fun. 6:30 Brewers Live, Fox Sports Wisconsin, all in high definition. Jim Edmonds batting for the 5th time tonight. He's 2 for 4. Doubled and scored in the first. He singled in the second. Brewers got 3 in the first, 3 in the second. Added 1 in the 3rd inning. And 1 more in the 8th. Excuse me, in the 5th for the 8th run.
Hey, good to see the Brewers offense able to add on. To get that 3-run first and just keep pouring it on. And we talked about that 10-run first inning in Washington, and that was great, but the Brewers weren't able to add another run until the 8th inning. And Washington just kept creeping back.
Well, the Brewers really haven't had a game like this all year. And it's not over yet, but 8-0 with Busch cruising, 7 strong shutout innings. It's been good to this point for Milwaukee. Corey Hart is homered tonight. He's driven in 2 runs. Multi-RBI games from Hart and McGee and Ryan Braun. Braun's up there near the league lead in RBIs. As Ekman strikes out, Tashner goes through the order 1, 2, 3 with a couple of strikeouts. And we are headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Pirates' top of the order is coming up.
Tomorrow, coverage begins 5:30 p.m. It'll be a little bit cooler than tonight's game. First pitch temperature 57 degrees with a wind out of the northwest 7 to 14 miles per hour.
Is good, but obviously that's a big concern, and all the thoughts and prayers of the club are with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Stan Kiles, the report from Drew Olson. Stan Kiles, it was reported today, and he's known about it since spring training, but he had a blood test done this spring, and he has prostate cancer, the Brewers bullpen coach, and he's in good spirits. He feels like they caught it early, and he's going to have a chance to have the surgery. And I talked to him earlier today, and he threw batting practice. It's standard operating procedure as far as the ball club is concerned until this weekend. But those he's talked to, and as a matter of fact, a couple of his doctors have had the same procedure. They said he's going to be in good shape, but you never know until after the surgery. And of course, when you first hear about cancer, he said it was quite a shock to think about that. He's 49 years of age, and Stan been able to keep a good attitude, and we wish him well. The Brewers do have Fred Dabney here, and Fred will take over as the bullpen coach in the absence of Stan Kiles. Joe Inglet makes a play for out number 1. Inglet in the game in second for Ricky Weeks. Well, our carsoup.com email the booth question comes from John and Madison tonight. And he wants to know, what does working out of the stretch mean, and how is it different from quote-unquote normal pitching, pitching in the windup?
Right. Well, obviously when a man's on base and you work out of the windup, I mean, you got to get a pretty good jump. It's a way to get rid of the baseball quickly and give a catcher an opportunity, not allow base runners a big jump. pitchers that work solely out of the bullpen these days anyway always work out of the stretch. A lot of times they come into a game when there's men on base. So they have pretty much done away with, the windup. Now guys like Narveson, who have started, they're still going to work out of the windup, and obviously until somebody's on base. Pitchers, though, have a tough time once in a while. A guy will feel comfortable in a windup and feel really in good rhythm, and then all of a sudden work out of the stretch and find himself out of sync a bit.
McCutchen hammers one to center field. That bounces off the wall, and McCutchen in there with another double. Andrew McCutchen has 3 hits tonight. He has 3 of the 4 Pirates hits.
And in many ballparks, he has 2 home runs. Not here. You hit him gap to gap here, you might as well forget it unless you're one of the big men. And McCutchen put a charge into that one. That's about as well as you can hit a baseball to center field here, but it just doesn't carry. I talked to the players, the outfielders for the Brewers, Corey Hart in particular. He's not buying that $3.99 sign out there. I think it's a bit deeper.
It's deep and
doesn't carry.
It's just a heavy air here, it seems like, on the banks of the Allegheny River. It's a pitcher's haven, PNC Park.
You keep hitters in the middle part of the field, you're going to be okay. Down the line's a little bit different.
Yeah, the short porch in left, right around the foul pole, is only 325. It's 320 to right, but it's a high wall out there. So you've got to get some elevation to hit one out. Kind of a mini monster. Eight to nothing Brew Crew here in the 8th inning in Pittsburgh. Narveson trying to preserve the shutout. Into right center, that's a base hit. Hart cuts it off. McCutchen's going to score. And it's a double and an RBI for Lastings Village. Pirates finally on the board here in the 8th.
Narveson getting one up. It was away. We talked about forcing Lastings Village to take the ball to the opposite field. The Brewers did. And he went right with it. Pretty good piece of hitting by Lastings Village. Drives in the first run for the Pirates. So both McCutchen and Village go to the opposite field.
Back-to-back hits, 8-1 Milwaukee. Village comes up with his first hit of the day. Garrett Jones, who has as many nicknames as he does home runs this year. 3 home runs this season. They call him GJ. They also call him G.I. Jones. And his childhood nickname is starting to catch on too, Bam Bam.
Where did you learn that?
Well, a little R&D earlier today. What's scouring the streets of Pittsburgh? You know, word on the street kind of stuff, Rock.
Okay.
It's kind of what we do. Apparently, he was in his neighborhood where he grew up, always carrying a bat. So he kind of looked like Bam Bam from the Flintstones.
Right, I get that.
And he hits the ball real far.
I get GJ, that's easy.
And then G.I. Jones.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. You heard that on the street.
That's what Greg Brown calls him. Not much Bam Bam in there. And Jones is out, second out of the inning.
So you didn't hear it on the street.
Well, I was on the street when I was talking to Greg. Final numbers on Dave Bush: 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. And how about we take you back? It was just about a year ago, April 23rd of 2009. Dave Bush, one of his best games of his career against that Philadelphia lineup in Philadelphia, took a no-hitter into the 8th inning. Remember, there was a great play in that game by Bill Hall at third base.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt Stairs with the home run to break up the no-hitter and the shutout for Dave Bush. Brewers took 2 out of 3 from Philadelphia in that series.
Brewers were riding high back early in the schedule a season ago. But that still is one of the great memories of a Dave Bush start. And before he was hit by that line drive from Hanley Ramirez, Bush was putting together a terrific season. And it's just unfortunate he was hit by that line drive and really never was the same. He actually had to go on the disabled list, tried to pitch through it.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. I mean, his numbers really ballooned when he tried to stay in the rotation and was noticeably not the same guy. I mean, he was hurt.
Bush was 3-0 with a 3.74 ERA before the injury. Had an ERA over 8 when he finally came back. Chris Narveson trying to get through this 8th, facing Ryan Doumit. He's given up 2 hits and a run. And Doumit out to short. Escobar on a hop. Strong throw is in time for the out. 8 complete in Pittsburgh. And the Brewers lead it 8-1. Approach by the Brewer offense.
Well, they needed to do that because it was apparent that the Pirate pitching staff was working away all night long, but the Brewers able to get the job done. This will put a smile on Dale Swain's face. Corey Hart going to the opposite field, and a lot of hits to right field if you're a right-handed hitter. Jim Edmonds has always done that. He's always been good at the opposite field hitting. 5 of the 9 hits for the Brewers have gone up the middle or to the opposite field tonight.
And the big boys are coming up here in the 9th inning. Braun, Fielder, and McGee. And a reminder that WMLW is your home for great comedies, including My Wife and Kids, tonight at 10:30. Followed by Everybody Hates Chris, tonight at 11, right here on WMLW. We thank our friends at WMLW. The Bucks playoff game tonight. So we've moved to the side, and Bucks losing tonight, and we welcome all of you who have joined us here to finish this one up. It's been a good game today for the Brewers. They have put the hammer down from the get-go as they face Javier Lopez, another lefty out of that Pirates bullpen, to face Braun, Fielder, and McGee. Jack Tashner, Milwaukee native, goes a scoreless inning with a strikeout.
A couple of guys from the area on this Pirate ball club. Jason Jaramillo, the backup catcher.
Jaramillo from the Racine area. And I'm sure those two will have plenty of friends and family at Miller Park next week.
Yeah.
Pirates come to town midweek next week. beginning Monday. Now tomorrow it'll be Yovani Gallardo. That kind of relieves a little pressure, you know what I mean? You know, that frontal lobe takes a little pressure off. He's got a lot of anxiety working, doesn't he?
Yeah. See his face.
He looks stressed. Gallardo tomorrow, the Brewers ace, back on the mound as Bowen draws the walk. How about a text question? We always encourage you to get interactive with us here on the broadcast. Text questions brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming this year, and we want to know, or who wants to know? Marty wants to know, why do some teams have the home dugout along the first base side and others along the third base side?
That's a good question. Pirates are on the third base side. The Brewers at Miller Park are on the first base side. I think sometimes a little bit of it has to do with the way the sun beats down on the dugouts for day games. The home team will ordinarily want to be in the shade. At least that's the way it was back in the old days.
Back in the day.
I don't think there's any
back when you were a pup.
Rhyme or reason to it.
It might have something to do with where the parking lot is, which would mean the players' parking lot leads to the clubhouse, which leads to the dugout.
Yeah, right.
For example, here at PNC Park, this is some more R&D I did earlier today, Rock.
On the street?
Players' parking lot is on the third base side.
Okay.
Fielder gets sawed off, flipped to second for one. Orseneño didn't even make a throw. He had a chance to get Prince.
And sometimes, you know, the home team will select a dugout where you can more easily see the bullpen.
Not a bad thought.
Sometimes the visiting dugout, like I think New York is like that, isn't it? Nobody can see.
Nobody can see. No, it's hidden from view. I think it's actually in the Bronx.
Yeah,
the bullpen at Citi Field.
According to the Brewer relievers and more importantly Marcus Hanel, the worst bullpen in all of baseball of all time.
Of all time.
You can't see. And literally, you have to watch the game on a TV monitor. That's not a bad bullpen here at PNC.
Nice bullpen.
There is nothing bad about this place. It's one of my favorite road ballparks.
No question. And the scenics here are incredible. Beautiful shot of downtown. Looks like Legoland over there.
I just wish that they would draw better. You know, they sold out opening day and then the following day, but they have had a tough time drawing fans in this ballpark over the last number of years.
Had an all-star game here a few years back. We always see a bunch of Brewers fans here at PNC every year. It's a great franchise. They do have great history in this franchise. And some of the best players of all time, Ralph Kiner, Roberto Clemente.
Honest Wagner.
The greatest shortstop of them all back after the turn of the century. The Flying Dutchman, Honus Wagner. Ooh, don't forget We Are Family, Willie Stargell. Paul Wainer has his number retired here, Hall of Famer. McGee draws the walk.
Yeah, this has definitely been a problem for Javier Lopez this year. He's walked a number of hitters.
Well, the last run the Brewers scored was back in the 5th inning. And it was a leadoff home run by Corey Hart. Opposite field home run to Jimmy John's delivery of the game.
A new bat delivery and a big-time delivery for Corey Hart.
Nice, Rob.
That's something.
How do you do that?
Well, about 10 years ago, I didn't ever come up with that.
When you say delivery of the game, I mean, you mean the delivery of the game. with the bats.
Yeah.
Did you throw batting practice today, partner?
I did. Yep.
I think you should throw batting practice tomorrow based on this result today.
Yeah, if they have early batting practice, I'll be out there. I don't think they do. It's only first day in.
Well, you must have done something right. Hart flies out, and that's out number 2.
Let me think who I threw to. Craig Counsell did not play.
He's always here for early batting practice.
Carlos Gomez did not play.
How'd he swing?
He's been pretty good against me.
That's good.
Hitting some rockets, and I threw to Greg Zaun.
Zaun's in the lineup tonight.
Zaun, he took an offer, so
maybe we jumped the gun on that.
Right. He's so far taking an offer.
I feel like Zaun needs to get a hit, or else you're not going to be allowed to throw batting practice for a while.
I think they welcome the help, the coaching staff.
Saw Stan Kyle throwing batting practice today.
Yeah. Stan leaves on Friday.
Zaun into left field. Millage is back, and he's got it for the out. 9th inning is over, and now the Pirates, their last call as we head to the bottom of the 9th. 8-1 Brew Crew. To the bottom of the 9th we go at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. 8-1 Brewers looking for their first win to open a series of the season. And Manny Parra will get the ball here for the 9th. He's pitched in 4 games thus far, and Rocky hasn't given up a run. He kind of evolved into that situational lefty after Mitch Stetter was sent to AAA.
The guy that can get right-handers out as well because of that changeup and split-fingered fastball. And Manny's been getting a few more opportunities to pitch. He wasn't getting any opportunities at all the first week of the season, but Ken Baca and Rick Peterson have been able to figure out ways to get him into ball games.
Now Manny Parra went an inning of scoreless baseball on Saturday, and then he went a third of an inning Sunday. Did give up 2 hits, but no runs. So he is pitching in his 3rd consecutive game. Jeff Clement leads off. He'll be followed by Delwyn Young, and then the Pirates will have a pinch hitter. That one is wrapped back up the middle for a base hit.
And Manny Parra came in Washington, gave up back-to-back base hits, was taken out, and Claudio Vargas threw 1 pitch, rolled a double play, and got him out of the inning. So 3 consecutive hitters for Manny have been able to reach the base hits.
Don't forget to turn to CBS 58's 10 at 10 News for just 10 minutes. Your most important news and full weather is always first. Here's Delwin Young, not to be mistaken for Delman Young of the Twins. Delman Young of the Twins has committed the only error that the Twins have posted this year. How about that?
That's something.
13 games in, they've committed one error.
And that was a throw from Delman Young that hit a runner. So they haven't really missed a baseball yet. They haven't missed a ball or really one errant throw.
That's impressive.
Yeah, on a new field. And not on the AstroTurf anymore. So much for the theory that the Twins are going to struggle on the new ballpark.
Off to a terrific start, and John Roush has been a big story closing games for Minnesota. 6 for 6. 2-1 to count, and there's a bouncer. Fielder fires to second for one. Parra is covering, but no throw by Escobar.
Yeah, good idea. No sense in getting Manny Parra all twisted and mangled over there at first base. Young getting down the line pretty good. Not sure he's going to be able to get a double play anyway. How about the positioning by Prince Fielder on that ground ball? Did you see how far off the first base he was?
In the hole over there.
That's what you call good defensive positioning. Check it out. Look how far off the line he is. Right to him. Escobar had thoughts about the double play, but thought better of it.
Here's the Wisconsin native, Jason Jaramillo, is pinch hitting. Backup catcher for the Pirates. No balls and 2 strikes. Now the Brewers are 2 outs away from giving Dave Bush his first win of the year. And he'll join Randy Wolf as the only starters at this point to record victories. Tomorrow it's Giovanni Gallardo against Zach Duke. Duke's off to a good start for the Pirates. He's 2-0.
Yo always catches the tough ones, doesn't he?
That's going to be the theme the rest of the year. Randy Wolf will pitch the finale on Thursday. Suppan gets the opener Friday against the Cubs. Brewers kind of rearranged the starting rotation over the weekend. Out to second. England to Escobar. The turn is in time. And that's your ball game today. The Brewers win it as Manny Parra finishes it off. Our player of the game today, Dave Bush. Who else? 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. And Bush leads the Brewers to an 8-1 victory. And our Menards player of the game.
Dave did a nice job pounding the strike zone. He did have the 4 walks, but it didn't hurt him. He was able to keep the ball down, had all 4 of his pitches working very well. And the Brewers, except for the first play of the game, played pretty good defense as well. That's pretty much been the theme. That was the big play right there. That turned into a double play and got Bush out of a jam.
Now Bush goes to 1-0, an 8-1 victory for the Milwaukee Brewers. And that'll do it for us from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Don't forget, you can catch Game 2 of this series against the Pirates. That'll be tomorrow on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Our coverage tomorrow begins at 5:30 with Brewers Live. And our coverage is presented. Stay tuned for local news coming up next. So long from